the other question is what they're going to pick as their final pick as well. I'm curious. Rhyme might be the thing. So I wanted to ask you about the Rhyme, though, because if you root up Gwen, she's just going to skedaddle. Yeah. If you try and get onto Glaive, he can after run past you to the back line.
Right. But imagine, it doesn't even really matter. Even if Arden's on the front line and he gets rooted up, Vox is getting breaking point stacks. And then suddenly Glaive jumps in and Vox has breaking point stacks. And he just turns and just deletes him.
I would actually really like to see Kestrel come out here.
Kestrel is definitely a strong pick too, yeah.
I think Kestrel as their last pick. Put her Crystal, put her in the jungle, and you've got yourself a very solid team to deal with things like the Glaive and the Gwen.
I mean, that's an interesting assessment, though, because earlier we were talking about how Glaive can kind of get over that active camo, get onto the Kestrel. Are you thinking that because the Lance is there to help out, they can just play around it?
I think partially you can play around it. Partially you can also, if you're going the Crystal Gwen, he's not going to afterburn over it if you're sneaking around and getting behind him and just putting it down at his feet, or you just have the Lance use that Githian wall to knock the team onto the active camos. There's a couple of combos that can come out with those two in particular.
Yeah. Also, Gwen's so squishy that... Oh! Let's just stop talking about that. Kroll's here.
I like the Kroll. Kroll is definitely one of my favorite heroes to play. I like playing Crystal Power Kroll, though, and somehow I find it difficult to believe that's what's happening here.
I mean, but it's probably going to be very similar to how you see this Glaive built on the flip side. Like, it's going to be like a Storm Crown type of Kroll. He's very objective focused on this lineup. He's going to look to get onto one of the key targets, get some weakness stacks on them, and then, of course, go ahead and chain some stuns down.
So I'm going to stun you guys here. I don't like the Kroll pick here. I do not like Kroll in this situation. I think the Glaive, cooldown Glaive, has too much peel. Gwen can get away from Kroll very easily and slow him up. Arden can also help those carries get away from him. Kroll's going to have a very hard time sticking onto a carry.
Yeah, I think he will.
So, based off that assessment, I take it you're not favoring that composition overall?
I am not, no.
Okay. So, to win this game?
I'm going to go with Misfits.
I got to say Misfits as well.
All right. Well, both these teams had a strong performance at the preseason invitational, but now they need to have a repeat of that in their first week of Vainglory 8 to move forward to day 2. It's going to be a really important matchup for them. Every point counts, and it starts right here.
All right, well, let's get this show underway. I can't even wait. Honestly, I feel so bad going against Rogue over here. Wizard
I feel so bad going against Kroll. Like, I want Rogue to win, but I think Misfit will just because I want that Kroll victory.
I'm jumping ship. I'm with Rogue. I'm jumping ship.
All right, well, let's go ahead and land ahoy on the Halcyon Fold as we hand it on over to Dowsy and Forecourt Jester.
Here we are, it is this second series between Misfits and Rogue. Two newcomers to the Vainglory scene in both these organizations. Very well known respectively. Now, Forecourt, you're here with me. We're having a bit of chat back and forth before this game started, and the analysts were as well. CP Cruel most likely coming in here for Rogue. How do you think that's going to work out?
I've kind of fallen into the whole bacon camp of the Kroll, get a little bit of an assault power, either weapon or the crystal, doesn't really matter, but then you really do got to tank up. You really just want to be that guy that's living the dream, living through everything, and getting the weakness stacks, and that's going to be a very important part of how Sibs plays out this jungle. Now, you say it could be Crystal, a lot of evidence here for Hammy to pick up that weapon box, so it does make sense, but I think that the farthest he'll ever go is, maybe that Crown Aftershock, maybe not even this Aftershock.
Have to see how this one does play out, but it is this game underway and both teams currently just doing their thing in the jungle, farming it on up. But you can kind of see that Rogue have a slightly different strategy. You see Evol heading in down to support Sibs, known as Wizard Sibs, you guys remember, with this Elder Tree. They've even brought Hammy down. They really are putting a lot of pressure on making sure they secure the Elder Tree. In fact, they give it to Hammy.
Yeah, that's the big thing. So we might be looking to accelerate his farm just a little bit. Now, up against a Gwen, especially this case, again, a lot of evidence to be for a weapon Gwen on top of that one. So if you can get a little bit of an edge over her, especially if Sibs can get to a survival point where he can stick to her at the end of all things, then you're going to be in a really fantastic spot. I do feel that Rogue will actually be able to take some team fights if that does come to pass. Of course, you got Evol in there as well. The Impales are no jokes. You might be able to cleanse out of them, but that's a decent cooldown compared to the Impale.
Certainly is, and it's I'm still stuck. Like, I'm really stuck on Crow. I can't get past it. I think that it's a really odd pick against this team composition. It was the last pick. They knew that they were going up against a Gwen and a Glaive. Well, I guess we'll have to see. Like you're right. I'm guessing it will just be a primarily you build that Storm Crown and then you go defensive, right?
There is a period of times last year, I believe it was actually this time last year, where if you played Kroll on NA, it was almost like an auto loss. It was really the EU dominance that played Kroll to perfection. But he's gone through a little bit more of a transition. Now we do see Sibs trying to contest that Elder Treant, and I mean he's going to be there, but he's not something that you really have to worry about a lot early game. The best early game Kroll I've ever seen come out of Korea, and definitely we're not playing that style here.
Definitely aren't. Well, let's see how this one does go out, as there's not really much to say about how the game's being played. It's how we expect really here. Glaive doesn't get too much early action, especially when you're up against a Vox here. We may see a bit of a gank. Illis has made his way towards the lane, but he'll run into Evol, who's sitting in at top brush there. And Sib's really just hard farming as much as possible, trying to get those items as soon as possible. Already the Storm Crown banner there. Trying to get that Storm Crown, I guess before the Glaive, so that they have a bit of advantage with the farm.
Well, one good thing about Kroll is that he can farm like a madman in that jungle if he's really left to his own devices. He can take down Treants, he can take down Krakens, he can take down gold miners. Like, the self-healing is rather immense. So yeah, picking up that true damage will go a long way for the fights, but it's a bigger threat just to clear out jungles faster. It also might allow him to invade, pick up kills, and just walk away in a very short time frame.
Yeah, well, definitely will. I was going to say something. I was trying to remember. I had a point I wanted to make. Yeah, I don't just hate it when you've got this really great topic to talk about. But no, I don't. We've got Misfits here. So Misfits are an interesting team put together. You've got King, formerly known as Exhale. He's gone through plenty of different names. He's always been a fairly entertaining player to watch. Eco here in the support and Illis in jungle. Up against this rogue lineup, a lot of hype around the rogue lineup. They've performed well. I guess they won the pre-season invitational gauntlet, if you can count that as a win. Ooh, first team fight coming out here. Sibs actually turned this around. Oh my goodness. Misfits have bit off more than they can chew. First blood, and the second goes in favor of Rogue. Illis all left by himself. Wow, Misfits charged straight into that fight, and Rogue was just ready for it.
Big thing is Sibs, level 6. He was able to farm out while Illis was kind of dancing around in lane. I mean, he's trying to really just keep this tower healthy, but
might go down if he sticks around for too long. This turret is not staying healthy. In fact, it will fall. That's the first turret blood going towards Rogue here. 2-0. So at 5 minutes, this is a much accelerated pace.
Yeah, 1,000 gold into their pockets for their troubles. But again, Sibs comes up level 6, throws down the Hell's Heart, gets stunned, followed up by Evol and that Lance Impale. Yeah, goodbye Gwen. Might have been able to skedaddle out of one, was not able to skedaddle out of the next, and she basically just melted. From there, it was just knockback. It was just Evol with his Githian. The Githian wall knocking back. You might expect Illis to be the knockback master with those afterburns, but Evol has a card to play up his sleeve on that one. That's how those two went down. It was just, they didn't expect a Hell's Heart to come out and lock them up like that.
And that's all been facilitated by Sibs just sitting in that jungle, farming up. Look at the XP bars at the bottom of your screen. You can see that he's almost a whole half level ahead of Illis here. And Rogue are going to use that tempo advantage that they have to continue putting pressure. The gold miner, it was a point of contention. I'm not sure Rogue really want to start it up here, but what they do want to do is start a fight. They've still got Hell's Heart up and ready to go against Misfits, just trying to find a key target, but they will have to pull back.
Yeah, you can see Eco just kind of sitting around in the tri-bush just saying, alright, if anybody comes up this way, at least I'll have the scout. We waited from Rogue for the flares to kind of be done before they made their exit, so Misfits sort of had to take a little bit more of an educated guess on that one, just to either assume that there was going to be a pressure or assume that there was not. And as you can see, everybody just kind of going back to lane. King sitting at 59 CS. We just saw Old School basically breaking records, but King a little bit under that 10-minute mark. Same here with Hammy, but an immense gold payout does go through to Rogue.
Yeah, Misfit's just half a second off being able to steal that one away. You saw Illis to 10. Hell's Heart goes out. It is blocked up. Great skedaddle, but that's so much damage going on to King, and he's bursted. Eco, the next target. In fact, they're going on to Illis here, just trying to get whatever they can, but they have to be careful. This Crystal Sentry is doing its work, so they'll focus it down and take one of its life. Eco, still not out of trouble. He is in the midst of everything. May have to be using that gauntlet as an escape tool.
No.
Currently, he will just hold on to the cooldown. Makes sense. It was never really going to get away. And another kill goes over to Rogue.
Yeah, holding on to the cooldown, I think, is the better option. There's definitely not going to be any precedent for him to get away, especially with just kind of the power that we have here from Rogue. They're able to chase him down almost effortlessly, it seemed, from there. And one big thing that Rogue can do is they can actually afford to kind of fight in the middle and chase into the opponent's base. Last round, it might have been a little bit more hesitant, from the Cloud9 group. But this time, Sibs on this Krull, he can just easily occupy that Crystal Mine and throw up the weekend. He's an easy cash-in stacks that he can do for the heal a little bit later on. There's not a lot of fear here from Rogue in Jungle Invading.
Definitely not. Talk to me, Hammy has purchased a Sorrow Blade first item on this box, going for a little bit of a different build than we've kind of seen popularized of late. He's going to purchase that breaking point just now. What do you think he's thinking here?
A little bit more bang for your buck. The crits are all nice and all, but until you get the double crits, you can't really rely on them 100%. And that's going to be, well, I mean, at the accelerated pace of this game, could have been about the 12-minute mark. That's what we saw from old school. But Hammy going for that Sorrow, he just hits a lot harder. And these fights are not lasting like a really long time, right? So if he has that upfront burst damage here with Sibs, with Evol, like the fight's going to be way over before really crits can kind of come into it. He does have a breaking point to help out with the attack speed, but honestly, I'm not expecting a lot of stacks to come through.
Oh, King completely baited in. Good ace to stop it, but the Hell's Heart connects and he's done so! That's going to be the kill, going to Sibs, and they're not done yet, looking for more. There's not much you can go. The silence comes down, it's a double here for that Krull. Sneaky, beaky, like, I love the bait. Evil rolling out of the bush like, oh, I'm just the only one here, it was just me the whole time. And realistically, that Krull's just going to run at you 100 miles per hour.
So again, look at Hammy, and just, he does not really need a big ramp-up time. 6 stacks killed out King. 9 stacks, they got the second kill, and he basically disengaged at the 13 mark. Like, he got to half stacks right there, but he doesn't need that ramp-up with that Sorrow Blade.
It definitely doesn't. I see what you're seeing here. Wow. Rogue have just taken the pace of this game, and they have thrown it down a hill full speed. That's going to be aftershock purchase there for Sibs now.
Yeah.
We're at the 10-minute mark. It's only a about 3,500 gold lead. Doesn't seem like much, but these fights are so Rogue dominated. And now some weapon infusions coming out. Hammy has one. King has one in the pocket as well. We'll have to see if Misfits are really able to get anything back, because they kind of have to make something happen here, or else this game's going to fall from their grip.
So one of the magical things about this new jungle build going out of, well, new is a keyword of perhaps bad importance on this one, but either way, you go into the crown, into the shock, right? Illis is behind in pretty much all sense of the word, but Sibs and he basically have the same items. We have more armor here for Sibs, that shows that he's just a little bit farther ahead, but that's kind of a bit more of the magic of this build. You can get it fairly early on. He doesn't require a ton of farm compared to some of the other harder hitting late game builds, and it can really turn tides. Now, Sibs is feeling superior, rightly so. They are definitely dictating this matchup. So he's able to pick up a little less defense, go a little bit more offense, and again, if they just keep eliminating King, he is not an issue.
Yeah, they're looking to try and find a turret here. Misfits can't do anything about Rogue's position. They're kind of just relegated to taking their backs and defending the turret here. The butt shots from King certainly doing some damage, but Sibs going to charge on in. They're just going to burst him down. So much damage going on to Sibs, and they've taken him down. This could be great for Misfits. They can just keep King alive. They won't be able to, but they are able to find a double kill here for Illis. Looking for Evo. The gauntlet locks up that lance, and a good afterburn knocks him back. Now the chase begins. Can he barrel roll to safety is the question. My bet is no, but a Giffian's Wall will knock him away. Tries to go into the base. That would have been a fancy move, but not going to happen. Another Giffian's Wall. Crystal Sentry making his way over, but it is a triple in the end for Illis, and a great fight from Misfits.
Now the good thing for Rogue is they did not get ace. Sibs was up in time. We were able to just stall out long enough. So Evol, thumbs up, big props to the work there, preventing that ace. There's not going to be a lot of counter push up here in lane. As you can see, King is manually just trying to push up that lane now. But at the same time, Rogue, there is something to say a little bit about hubris. Yeah, you're in the lead. Yeah, you're up 2 turrets, right? And just, they really rushed down that turret. They basically threw themselves 3 kills, only getting turret in 1 for their trouble. Definitely not a trade that you would make if you're on equal footing, but it ultimately, I don't think it'll actually even matter too much. Rogue might have given away some gold, but they're still so far ahead.
Yeah, it's a 4,000 gold lead here for Rogue, despite the triple kill that did go to Illust. For Misfits, it might be a confidence booster, a morale, that they can, you know, still win team fights, that they're still in it to win it. But they're going to have to start getting some gold onto King, onto Illust, who's definitely starting to hit like a truckload. King going to need to be hitting even harder here. Got that breaking point Sorrow Blade, looking for his Tyrant's Monocle, but he's so far off it. And
yeah, Hammy has it.
Hammy's already hit it.
Yeah, he just hit it now. He also has himself that tier 2 armor. You can see King only tier 1. We're into the Atlas here from Illust, whereas Sibs has not opted to push that way. Sibs actually goes into tier 3 boots. He just picked up those ward treads. So we actually have double treads from this team. The mobility coming out of Rogue is actually unmatched at this point.
Yeah, and it's scary when you think that, you know, Cruel already gets that bonus movement speed from just standing in a bush for a little while. And so the fact that he can use his passive to run at you, then activate those wall treads to bring his team along, and then Evol can do the same. There's not much escape potential really here for Misfits.
Alright, Sibs Infusion just wore off. He might actually just go look for another one right now. 14 minutes is a fantastic time to pick him up because you're going to get that Kraken spawning out, and a good fight puts you in a good position to actually pick her up. At the same time, you could easily go for the gold miner, which we can see happening now here. Sibs, he's able to solo this out. Hammy's just accelerating the process. But, you know, 12, 13, 14 minutes, good prime time for a lot of these infusions, and I would not be surprised to see more than just Hammy picking it up before fight.
Yeah, well, there's already... yeah, Hammy has one. Yeah. There's a Crystal Infuse in Sib's pocket there.
Illust has one too. He's been holding on to it.
Yep, he purchased just a little while ago. King wants to get that Tyrant's Monocle before this fight starts up. You can see him trying to farm the jungle up. This Crystal Sentry going to be the target for Rogue. A bit of extra gold, and of course it won't be in the next fight. But Eco going to try to punish Gauntlet, but it's knocked back from Evol. That's just Misfits forced to retreat here. There's no way they can look to re-engage this fight. In fact, Rogue, they want it. They root up the Arden, and it's King just locked down, trying to heal up, but he's going to get locked in the tree and nowhere to go. Everyone's locked in the tree and no one's moving here as Hammy gets to just resonate all over their faces. Bounce, 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 and kills going everywhere. 9-3, and Rogue may just look to try and finish off this choke tower.
That was an even better bouncy castle than Ardent Gauntlet plus Resonation from Crystal Vox. Like, that route was absolutely insane. And Sibs, no fear from Illust right here. Just goes up, takes the turret, no problem, walks away. Sunglasses, he has himself a surfboard. It's a good day in Kroll's world. And 9-3, and still continuing to get that gold lead up there, Dowsy. With a Kraken to boot, we might actually be looking at endgame.
Yeah, absolutely. Rogue not turning down the pace. They want to put all the pressure on Misfits, not allowing them to get a breather in this game. That Tyrant's Monocle still not purchased. Look at those items coming through. Evol just purchases everything.
Holy. Yeah, if you want to talk about power spikes, well, I don't think you're killing Rogue no more. So much armor just bought now.
Yeah, just making sure that there's nothing that King can do to them, even though he is in a spot where he's not even able to do anything at this point. Misfits, they're waiting for the doom that's coming down their lane. This Kraken is making her way towards the Vein Crystal, and Rogue are just chilling. Sibs charging from the shadows, wanting to find that target as Misfits doing their best to try and chunk down this. There's the wait for it. Eco silence, looking for King, but it's Eco in the front line. They're going to charge in. Illust doing his best this. Gwen can't even get into the fight. Aces onto the Gruul. Hammy doing the damage. Eco going to be the first to go. And now they're going to turn their attention onto King, onto the turrets as well. One down, looking for the second King. Doing his best to find damage, but he's not dishing it out. The second goes down. Roger focusing the Vein Crystal, and with a couple more hits, Illis doing his best to stop Hammy, and he will find the kill, but it's not enough. Rogue takes game one.
Yeah, consolation kill at the end, but it's all about the crystal. And yeah, Kraken again, just absolutely monstrous. So much money. Like, Rogue was just rolling it at the end. Big things at the end of it there, although, is again double ward tread.